You're welcome back to the show, and if you want to contribute to the discussion, the hashtag is State of Affairs across all social media platforms where, of course, we are active. And remember, we're streaming live as well. So if you're not at home, you can still watch on your tablet or your mobile devices. Now, my guests tonight to discuss our topics are the Honorable Kwame Agboja, who is Member of Parliament for the Adaklu constituency in the Volta region. It's good to have you here with me.
Good to have to have me on the show. And
good to see you.
Yes,
I was surprised to see you very active on Twitter.
Yes, I'm very. I don't do Facebook, just Twitter.
That's very good. That's
looking good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And also Michael Quay Jr. He's the Deputy Communications Director for the New Patriotic Party. Mike, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Nanaba. And yes, I agree with my brother on the point of how you're looking good.
Thank you very much, Mike.
It's one agreement on the show for you. So
I know. It will probably be the only agreement. Mike, before we talk about the demonstration today, do you want to comment on the situation in Eslowusu's constituency?
Oh, all I'll say is that the chaps who answered in terms of said they were not aware of what was going on. They are talking about being ignorant of an announcement that has been made. I spoke to the regional secretary myself on the way here just to clarify and to be sure that the program was coming on Saturday. And he confirmed as well that the election is happening on Saturday. And so barring any hitches, as far as I'm aware, it should come on. Now, there were issues with regard to the register in terms of a chap being a representative of a lady and so on and so forth. I don't know how these are going to be resolved or have been taken care of so far. But as you can see, there are challenges in putting these local registers together. If you remember the NDC primaries, there were so many challenges that we even had soldiers and so on having to go to places like Ningo Pram Pram and so on to resolve them. But in the long run, they were able to elect whoever was to represent them. So I hope that, yes, the system will not be perfect. There will be a few challenges. But what we want is the minimization of the problems instead of escalation. And we hope that once these are minimized, the elections will go smoothly and the matters that require rectification will be handled, so on.
Okay, so the election will happen on Saturday.
Well, as far as I know, as at today, the election is supposed to happen on Saturday.
Right.
But as to anything that may transpire between now and then, I wouldn't be able to be the wiser for now.
All right, thank you very much. We just needed that clarification. Honorable Agboja, I know you want to comment on this. It's not your business, is it your business?
Oh, yes. It's very interesting when you have a male constituency or branch organizers, women organizers. It's quite an interesting thing in NPP to have a male women organizers.
It's a mistake, clearly.
So NPP accepts that you can have mistakes with
Well,
registers?
Have they ever said otherwise?
Yes. Yes, that is, in fact, the whole demonstration today was to say that these things are not supposed to happen. And in fact, they haven't even proven it happened. So the truth is that the current MP is the choice of the current establishment in NPP.
How do you know?
And they will do everything to get...
if they will do everything, then why are they going to hold the elections? They could have just...
Yes, they're trying to massage the ground until it's soft for the person they want to go. It's their internal thing.
If Mrs. Ekufo wins that election, she'll be winning on merit and her abilities, not because there's an establishment in the party.
I have no doubt. It's an internal thing, but it's quite obvious that we know in their primaries, if you are not for Nana, they want you out. That is, it's happened from Ho through to Paga, and it's obvious. I mean, the gentleman who won and was kicked out by Philip Addison, those are the things.
They went to court.
Of course, yes. That's what I'm saying. They'll find a way to massage the ground to get you out.
Are you saying that the court passed the wrong judgment on that case because it went to court? If really there was an establishment that wanted him out.
They elbowed the guy out, they forced the guy out. I'm saying that they have all sorts of ways. In fact, They have ways. We know these days they can even get their chairman out, they can get their secretary out. That is the way they go these days. So it's up to them to do whatever they like to themselves. But all I will say is that it's quite interesting to have a male women organizers in NPP.
Mike, do you want to comment on that?
Oh, I mean, obviously, I'll just indulge my brother. He wants to have a laugh, a little bit of mischief here and there, but it's no big deal. We both accept that, yes, what I said was minimization of the problem, not the escalation of it thereof. So for us, there's no problem at all.
Okay, now let's move on to our main issue for tonight. We're talking about that demonstration in Kumasi earlier today and also Waec. I want us to start with Waec. About the cancellation of papers. I remember last year, I spoke to both of you, not on the same day, but on different occasions, and the suggestion was that next year we'll be talking about this again. And here we are. Honorable Agboja.
Well, first of all, it's quite disturbing because I happened to be in one of the meetings that the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education called when they invited Waec. And they gave us so much assurance that they put in place so many strategies to avoid or minimize the occurrence of this. So it's surprising that just at the beginning of this, we are hearing this. Despite all that, I believe that whatever they need to do to make sure that the further leakages don't happen, they must do that. Because when it happens like this, you need to look at the burden on the village or the kids in deprived areas after going through and when the leakages happen, they are the last people, or in fact, let's put it this way, they are the people who never would have the ability to know what the leakage is about, but they also get punished. It's the city dwellers who indulge in this. So I'm just saying that they should ensure that these leakages are stopped. I don't know, I thought they got the security apparatus and everybody involved in how they print the papers and the distribution, but it's a human institution. I'm told when the papers were distributed to the various schools, that's when it happened. So perhaps an unscrupulous invigilator or somebody decided to help somebody by leaking the paper. It's difficult to control at that stage.
Okay. Mike, I don't know if you've heard the NAT president, the Ghana National Association of Teachers president, saying that Waec is enjoying too much monopoly and is responsible for all the leakages we're experiencing. And there are suggestions as well that we are treating Waec with kids' gloves, really, because this is becoming an annual occurrence.
Well, I would want to equate this to a situation of passing the buck, because I think it's an issue of shared responsibility. And why do I say that? Now, if we have a scenario where the results are tabulated, printed, and distributed by Waec, who do they hand the documents to before the exams? This is handed over to the teachers. This is going through a system, through GES, the Ghana Education Service, because I don't think Waec have transportation to distribute this. When they bring it in, the Ghana Education Service now takes over and distributes it to their members who are teachers and so on and so forth. So that in itself is the first aspect of the responsibility. I think it's shared. I think that the teachers themselves, some of them are unscrupulous because they want to cheat. If you've noticed, with this one in particular, it was said that it was mainly in a very top school in the eastern region, who obviously either want to boost their marks or want to find a way to circumvent the normal route of getting good results and get even better or the best. And so they decided that cheating was the route that they would want to pursue. That in itself is unacceptable. Then you look at the way some of the headmasters who are supposed to take care of these things are also behaving. They themselves are putting these things on WhatsApp groups and so on. Some of them have been pre-formed. The groups have been created prior to the exam results being coming out. And they have certain names for them, Lagadia, and so on.
Meaning Apo.
You know, yes. So they've created it in anticipation of this. Now, this obviously means that some people are paying money to even get onto that WhatsApp group in the first place. And that in itself is not helpful. Then the parents. You know, there are some parents who are buying Apo for their children. I mean, unbelievable. I don't know what kind of parents that some people think they are or are in whatever sense of the word. Because I don't know about your dad. I don't know about your dad, but I don't see my mom or my dad buying me apple. I mean, you wouldn't even dream of going to them to go and ask them for apple. And I'm sure the same applied to you. The same applies to my brother here. So the parent who allows the child to buy apple, after the child has passed, are you able to tell the child to live in a certain way?
But if the grounds are not fertile, will these parents even dare?
That is not the point. The point is that there's a lot of temptation and a lot of bad things that are going on. For example, there's drugs available. Does that mean that you go and buy drugs for your child because your child says, I want to be happy? For example, you, the parent, must teach the child some morals. You, the teacher, the headmaster, the GES representative, the Waec representative. This is a whole chain of irresponsible people who have involved themselves in something like this. Then it goes to the authorities in charge. Who are the people in charge? The head of Waec in Ghana. If this has gone on, you remember last year we had the same problem where it was so bad because usually when it's contained, then they find a way for you to either rewrite in that school or they realize they won't affect the country too much, so it's left alone. But this was so bad, it permeated the society so much that 5 papers had to be cancelled. Now, this doesn't speak well of the head of Waec. Has he been interrogated? Has there been an inquisition? Has there been a public inquiry?
We understand he actually answered some questions to the BNI. We don't know what exactly.
When was that?
Last year.
Oh, last year?
Yes.
Okay.
When those 5 papers were cancelled.
And what has happened with that? Because you see, with the report, then we are able to look at and diagnose the matter. You can diagnose a malady and then recommend the right therapy thereof because you've been able to ascertain what the sickness is. But in this case, it looks as if we don't have any solutions. We've not changed anything. And as far as I'm concerned, interviewing, because I was going to ask, where's the BNI in this? They seem to be very active in arresting people for the least suspicion. So we want people to not just be interviewed, but drastic action must be taken. As my brother on the other side, Koko Anyido, is famous for saying, heads must roll. And the heads must roll where? Waec, GS, if they are culpable, even some of the teachers, if they are found, should also be pressed with criminal charges. Even government people. I know of a leak, okay, in Europe, England to be precise, where the minister had to resign. Because you see, this is something where we have what we call ultimate responsibility. We all know that if exams go well, the government will take credit for organizing good exams, and they even sometimes take credit for the children doing so well. So by the same token, if the children have performed badly, the same people must be in charge, and they must be able to explain to us that under my watch, there's been these failings, and I am not the cause of it, but I take ultimate responsibility for those failures. And as a result, I've not been able to execute my job to the highest standard that is expected of me, and so I resign accordingly. This is the kind of thing we want to see. The minister's own, in this case, is optional, but most definitely, we have to see some heads roll in Waec, Ghana Education Service, and the headmaster or the teachers who are involved in the school. This cannot be allowed to continue because what is going to happen is very soon, when you go with results from Ghana to an international organization or job, they are going to say that, no, we don't accept it. We don't think it's good enough. My brother on the other side, as far as I'm aware, he did his education abroad as well. If I'm right, my brother Abuja, yes. Can you imagine? And in those days, the people from Nigeria and so on, they make them do foundation course. You remember? Those from Ghana, you go straight into university. Of course, now without the O and A level, it's changed. That's how much they respect our level of education. So we can't allow and afford for people who are in charge of supervising and regulating our examination matters to let such blips happen. Last year it happened. This year it's happening. I think it's too many, and we need to deal with the matter head on.
Right. You want to add on?
Well, I agree with him, but then for this particular one, like he said, we know it's been zeroed down to a particular school for now. So, like, I would side with him by saying that the security agency should look further and find out whether this is localized to that school and find out who are the culprits and punish them. Because the one that happened the last time, none of us got to know actually who did it and what punishment But once we can...
Because Waec told us that they were investigating
Exactly.
it.
Let's find out what punishment is there. I'm sure it can deter somebody from attempting if they know the level of punishment that is there. But I also agree that the pushy parents, or parents who would go to the extent of encouraging your child to go into an exam room. There are things on social media, people writing things on their thighs and other things. I think at least during our days, you couldn't do that. I don't know what's become of the world these days, but I think we can do with it.
So I would like to know your thoughts on this discussion. What do you make so far of these leakages and the reaction from Waec, or should I say action or inaction from Waec? Anyway, so we go on to our next topic.
Oh, before we go there, Abba, I just wanted to add something which I think is of utmost importance. I know it usually happens more at a tertiary level, but I think we should find a way of dealing with our secondary school level exam, where you go in there for 3 or 4 years, and all you have to do is chew everything and cram it in your final year, where there's not a sort of progressive assessment into the system. So that if there was a way where we could even trust the schools, I think that's where the problem will come. To trust the schools to do some self-assessment of maybe 20 or 40% of your exam, then everything does not just lie on the finality of the paper that will be done.
You think it puts pressure on the
It puts pressure on some of the students. That pressure has already existed, and it makes some people, as we know, desperate situations call for desperate actions. And so some people in that desperate situation are not able to cope, and they think that the best way is to go and open some Waec brown envelope and steal the results or steal the papers or steal whatever they have to steal to do well. It's something we can look at, but to be honest, I just think it may not be practical, simply because the secondary schools are too fragmented. It is very difficult to monitor the accreditation, but we must find some way of decentralizing this central thing so that we can see consistent performance with regard to secondary schools.
Okay, now let's talk about the demonstration in Kumasi today. You saw the turnout, Anamoah Agboja. Let's start with that discussion. The NDC didn't join.
Well, it's let's face it, it's a demonstration organized by NPP. You can AFAG is NPP.
How is AFAG NPP?
Of course, all of them are NPP.
How?
Let my vote count.
You've
David
seen
Asante.
AFAG members holding
David Asante is my
wielding.
very good friend. He's a member, a leading member of NPP. But they are Ghanaians. They have the right to do whatever.
David Asante is a leading member of NPP.
NPP.
Of course, he's always. I always see him. You send him on a program.
Does that make him a leading member?
Anybody who represents can speak for your party. I find him to be.
He never speaks for a party. He's been going on programs for Let My Vote Count, but not for NPP.
So he's not a leading member of.
No, he's never a leading member of our party.
What? But he's a member of your party.
I don't even know if he's a member. He may sympathize with the NPP.
David Asante is not a member of NPP.
Oh, but come on. Even the electoral commissioner, we know she leans towards a particular party, but she's not a member. So we won't make that an issue.
You're my friend.
She leans towards which political party?
Your brother is saying you are not a member of the party.
No, he's not. As far as I'm aware.
Let's face it. We live in a very democratic country. I'm proud of this country.
But Mike, the electoral commission doesn't lean towards any political. We don't.
Oh, well, as he's saying, he knows in setting this thing. I don't want to go into the detail, but
Mike,
we also know. Look,
Mike.
We know that she was appointed by NDC for the NCC job, for example.
But
let me put it this way. I know certain things you don't know, so let me not go too much.
I also know certain things.
I'm just cautioning him.
Chief Justice.
So
he's a member of
NPP.
No, not that one.
Chief Justice is not a member of NPP.
I don't know about that. He knows something. He should tell us.
No. You're saying that because she was elected by this administration, it makes her NDC.
Never said that. I said, for example, for her appointment when it came to the NCC and so on and so forth, before that we know certain leanings, and you must use the word, as I said, in a context. But that was also an off-the-cuff sentence. I'm just trying to tell him that there may be leanings of certain people, but it doesn't mean that they cannot do a certain job. That's what I'm saying.
Mike, you know for sure David Asante is a core member of NPP.
Actually, I've been interviewing David Asante on a political show when he described himself as a member of the NPP communications team.
He would be.
Maybe so, but I haven't heard about that.
He will feel very much upset with your description, whether of I don't even know.
No, when you say leading member, I don't think he's a leading member.
But you know Atuguba was a member of NPP before?
I am.
But today he's not a member. So I'm just trying to tell you that let's not go on that tip. say what he has to say,
you don't know,
but don't call him an NPP member.
Oh, he is.
No, that's not what he went to demonstrate about.
In any case,
let's talk about the
demonstration, as far as I'm aware, the NPP have got the legitimate right to organize and demonstrate or show whatever they want to show in terms of their human right in this country. They went to Kumasi partly because, you see, historically, the NPP gets the biggest chunk of vote in Ashanti region, but the behavior of their leadership towards certain elements of the party in Ashanti region.
Which behavior?
Hold on. I mean, let me build on a case.
Okay.
Has made it such that the last time, if you watch, if Nana turns up in Kumasi, it's like nothing is happening. That was different from when President Kufuor was the leader of NPP when he turns up in Kumasi. So they need to find a way of proving to themselves. So what they did was to basically go and pay 50 cedis to a lot of people, give them, in fact, some of the
NPP must be very rich then. If they were paying a lot of people 50 cedis
if you look at the Kayaye, the bowls or whatever they call, you can call it, they use it. If those who have been around for some time, you see the bowls or the pans are at a certain nature. These are
I don't understand you.
Let me tell you, the bowls they were using today, majority of them were brand new bowls, which means that somebody actually went somewhere. So I'm telling you,
I've seen the pans, and the pans don't look brand new.
I'm telling you, I have got pictures of those that are looking like they just got them from the shop, and I'm saying that they paid them 50 cedis to attend. And in any case, let's leave.
You were there when they were paying them 50 cedis.
Let's leave who attended or who didn't attend. What was the reason for the demo? Is the same attitude of a party who is spoiled for so many things every day, crying for this. What did they take initially? When we finished the 2012 election, they said that Nana won and President Mahama didn't win. They went to court. They sent their evidence and everything. When they were told in the face, you don't have a point, the president won fair and square. So they came back home. Then they started all the processes. Then they will go and make comments such as, we accept, but we disagree. I don't even know what that means. Then they decided to go on another tangent to say that the electoral register that was used for the 2012 election was faulty. They went and took pictures of people. In fact, some of the people they claim were Togolese who live in Togo, I met in Ho, who have never stepped in Togo. They photoshopped.
You knew,
yes. They made Photoshop and did all these things and told EC, if you want to know the truth about this, go to Togo, go to your colleagues in Togo and get the register. And then they made further big allegations that they have evidence of about 75,000 people who are foreigners who are not supposed to be on the register. And then they claim they only showed 10% of those people. Months passed when the EC gave them the opportunity in front of eminent people, come and show us the evidence. You would have thought that by the time between...
Are these what you call new pants? Because they don't look new.
Some
are very rusty.
I'm telling you, some of them look really new.
So it means they bought the pants for them?
Yes.
That's a lot of work then.
Of course. They are putting in a lot of effort.
Because if these people have showed up, they just showed up genuinely, that's an insult to them.
This isn't even the case. These people were hoodwinked. Let's get to the bottom of why they went there. So, at the Kayaye also, did you hear any of the Kayaye say anything? Let's get back to the NPP. I'm saying
a lot of people spoke there. I can't be
let's get back to the NPP. And then when they were given the opportunity, you think that since they said what they showed in the past, which was the 10% of the so-called 75,000, you think that when they give them 6 months, they would have come up with maybe 20%. They came to that committee with not a single more number of people they claim were there. When they went through the thing, they said, you don't have a point. Now they say that they are not now saying that they want a new voters register. They are calling something validation. And I kept telling NP people, my brother has lived in the UK before. The way we build our voters register in Ghana is much more secure than what even pertains in the UK. And when they asked me, and I said, look, in the UK, all I need to do is to turn up at an address in the UK as a member of a Commonwealth country. The fact that I live legally in the United Kingdom, I call my local council and tell them, my name is Kwame Agboja, I'm living here. My local council sends me a form and asks me if other people live here who are of the same kind as you, put your name down. And when any election comes, you vote. There's no ID card or anything with a picture on it. So our system is much more robust. Now they are saying we should do validation. And the EC is saying, what do you call?
They are not saying we should do the validation.
I was listening to them when I was
saying. The committee or we?
You.
What did the committee say?
Which committee?
The VCRC.
I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about VCRC. I'm saying
that. Who brought the word validation?
Fine. And I'm saying, attributing something else to them.
Yes, I'm saying that. What is validation?
I don't know. What's the issue?
Yeah, hold on. Validation, as far as I'm concerned, we are going to.
We don't care about what you are concerned. Validation by EC is what we are concerned.
We are going to open a register. Every time, anytime, even if you do a new register today, by the close of today, there will be somebody on that register who shouldn't have been there because somebody probably passed on who shouldn't have been there. So there cannot be a voters register which is flawless. So when the EC opens this voters register for new people who have qualified to act, the same time you can remove people who are not supposed to be there. If MPP have got a...
How will you remove them?
How will you remove them?
Yes, people
You've already said you know them.
No. How will you remove them?
Hold on.
Because we are not the EC.
No. I'm saying that you are the one who made the allegation that there are about 75,000 people who, by law, you know, because they...
so EC remove them according to what we send EC?
No, hold on.
So how will the EC do it? You an MP, you should be able to tell us.
The EC doesn't even remove anybody. If I think that there's somebody on the register who is not supposed to be there, I go and use the laws that I exist to remove the person.
Good.
So if you have the 75,000 people, all you needed to do is to turn up at the various polling stations or registration centers and remove them. What is the rocket science about this? You see, Nanaba, all this is as simple as this. NPP is doing what you can call patapa. They have absolutely no case in terms of this voters register. Otherwise, just last week, they went and did an election and were congratulating each other at this and that. Somebody has won.
By-election.
I mean, do we have some of the 75,000 people on the...
Well, they identified where that 75,000 people were.
So it is only the place they did the election, the voters register.
No. You're asking if those 75,000 people were on that register. And yes. I'm saying that they identified a particular area.
No, I am not aware that...
They did not say that the 75,000...
Which area did they identify? Volta region or where?
Volta region, and then some places in Accra as well.
You see, even that is an issue. Then PP knows what the issue is in Volta region. So they deliberately pick up...
Which is the issue?
The issue is that it's not their stronghold. They pick up deliberately on Volta region to create that situation. And you see, the earlier they stop and understand that the reason people vote for you is when they have faith in you. If they believe you can do something to change their lot, that is when. And you see, recently President Mahama went to Volta region and said something like, all the noise NPP is making, what have they done for Volta region? I listened to Mr. Anamoah today. The president was talking specifically with respect to how do you call it, development project. Mr. Anamoah came, a physical development project. Mr. Anamoah came talking about they introduced free bus ride on Metro Mass for school kids of school going age. Nanaba, Metro Mass doesn't even go to Adaklu. So where was that policy supposed to be benefiting the children of school-going age in Adaklu? So you realize that all this thing about the voters register is just a storm in a teacup, and it's not going anywhere. But you see, they need to have a reason to blame the impending loss of their candidate on something, and these are the reasons they are doing it. And I agree that.
Let me go to Mike now. Sorry, Mike.
I've had a very amazing time listening to my brother struggling with all sorts of things which don't even relate to the reason why we went for the demonstration. So I'm going to choose to ignore most of them, but to go on to the simple fact. We went on this demonstration because we just wanted to point out a few things to the EC. Why are we doing that? The EC the NDC keep always trying to victimize the MPP as people who are not law-abiding when they have something to say about the EC. But we are going about it lawfully. A demonstration is a constitutional right to protest. So I don't see any crime in that.
I never
Secondly, but I'm just saying, so don't make it look as if we don't know what we're about. Secondly, the NDC went to court in 2004 Ghanaians who don't remember this.
So it's retaliation.
Wait, no, you went to court. So why is that when we go to court later, you make it look as if we had no right or business to go to court? When you go to court, you may win, you may not lose, or the verdict might be in a way that is against you. You may not agree with it, but you accept it because you respect the rule of law. And that's what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo does. He respects the rule of law. That's why he goes to court. He didn't wear a kuatare like Esiedun Ketia, who was wearing, you all remember, the warrior gown.
But do you know the title of your demonstration today?
We
will not accept.
We will not agree.
No, yes.
We will not
Yes,
accept.
yes.
We will not agree.
You see,
To what?
He
To
always
law.
misinterpret, but just relax because I want to talk to the people of Ghana. And we, as a people, we went to court. We had a protest. The court came and gave a verdict.
That
We didn't accept. But
What did the court say?
But we agreed.
What did
We
the
didn't
court
agree,
say?
but we accepted.
What did the court say?
Then
You know what the
it
court
doesn't
said.
matter what the
No,
court
tell
said.
the
because
court.
You
if
know
want
what
to
the
go
court said.
as to
But
what
they
the
didn't
court
have a
said.
case.
Oh no, let me indulge him. If he wants to go with what the court said. A court of 9 people. Nanaba, you remember what happened in this country? At 11 o'clock, they told us that it was 6-3 against MPP. And at 5 o'clock, they came to tell us it was 5-4 against MPP. Is that fair? No, so don't. You didn't hear about the communique.
I didn't.
Oh, what a shameful nature. In this country, the Supreme Court told us 6-3 at 11, and at 5 o'clock, they gave us a communique for 5-4. Is that acceptable? But Nana Addo is a peaceful man.
What's wrong with
that? No, because you don't understand. Let me show you how the law works.
Yeah.
You are an architect. Let me show you how it works.
Well, people don't have
When
the
it's
right
no,
to change their
hold on. When it's 6-3, you know, after the Supreme Court gives a verdict, there's something called a review. You can add 2 people to it. Traditionally, those who made up their minds already will not change their mind. So the 2, even if you add it to the 3, is 6-5. It means well done 0.
Right.
But where it is 5-4, if you get the 2 review going on one side, it can now change to 6-5. So that is the reason why it's of significance. Let me continue. Now, moving on to the issue of the EC. We decided that, look, there were some problems with the register, and we brought them out. Our angle was different. But our friends on the other side, they said no. Problems in the register require cleaning, not new register. And we say it requires a new register. So there was a bit of a debate. Eventually, the EC said, look, Ghanaians, let us all gather in a forum. All the various interested parties come and give your presentation. We all witnessed it live on television. So everybody came and gave their paper. Then the EC said that they were going to, not me, they were going to set up a committee to look into it. The committee they set up was chaired by a very senior person who was a former Supreme Court judge called VCRAC Crab.
Appointed by?
So, by the EC.
No.
Appointed by the EC.
Was he appointed to the
No, he was appointed by the EC as a committee. That's what that's important.
No. He's asking at the time he was a Supreme Court judge.
I don't remember.
Does that matter?
Exactly.
Does that matter?
Because
He was talking about the affiliations.
Atuguba was the head of our case, was appointed by.
The EC boss is not affiliated to any political party.
So, moving on to the issue, we had a situation where we came to make presentations. Then they elected a committee charged by VCRAC Crab to look into the matter and to deal with it. Nana, you remember in this country, the MPP was against it. We were against the committee because we felt that VCRAC Crab had publicly said that he was against a new register. So we felt that somebody has already made up their mind on the issue. How can you make him the referee? There's also another chap called Tony Queno, who we all know as an NDC IT specialist. We were against Mr. Queno as well. But eventually, the EC said, we are an independent body. We have elected these people. They should come and advise us to ask.
How many was the membership of the committee?
I'm coming.
Which
Was
is
5
true.
people.
5 people.
Yes.
So three of them, you
Two
agreed
of them.
with the 3.
2 of them we had a problem with.
Yeah, but three of them.
We never even scrutinized those 3. So I want you to know we talked about the 2.
Okay.
Now, we agreed and said, okay, let sleeping dogs lie. They said they are going to look at all that everybody brought. When they came back with their report, which is to advise the EC, you know what they said, Nanaba? They said the register is, and I use the words in quote, dangerously unacceptable. Now,
Was that what they wrote, or is it your interpretation?
No, in quotes. You should hear what I said.
Okay.
In quotes.
So why don't you use the word they use?
Wait, dangerously unacceptable. I want to quote So that won't be my paraphrase. Now, if they say the thing is dangerously unacceptable, it means it is not fit for purpose. And they say they don't agree with MPP. You see, MPP went for a whole loaf of bread. The whole loaf of bread is that we want a new register. They say they can't give us a whole loaf of bread. What they will give us is something called validation. They will give Ghana that, I think that in order for the register to be authentic, we should do validation. What is validation? You go, you validate on the machine, because as for registration can disenfranchise anyone. And registration can disenfranchise anyone, because if you don't go, you don't go, or you're not around, you've traveled. But we should do validation. All Ghanaians should go to their polling stations, put their hand on the machine, you validate, it goes. Those people have validated, one, take care of the death matter. He was telling me that what shows people won't die between now and the election. Are you telling me that those who have died from 2012 till date, if they are removed between now and then, which is just 8 months, those who die won't be less? And when we do anything in life, it's about minimization of risk.
Even after the validation,
So,
in the evening, somebody would have died.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So it would have been less people, because if the numbers are still left, all those who would die between now and election, they would die anyway. And it will add to the already bulk of problems that we have. So it is about minimization of the register, which is too big. Now, the committee says there should be validation. Then this same EC, and remember the EC has a track record of not listening. There was a time where MPP and
When you say
NDC
EC,
advised...
what is EC?
Oh, my brother, you keep interrupting me too much. Relax. Let me talk to the Ghanaians.
You did
that.
that.
No, but very rarely so. You are doing it too
You did
much.
that.
You are doing
Let
it
him
too
make
much.
his point.
One or
Honorable.
two introductions.
Okay.
If it's for mischief, you have achieved it. It's okay. The issue is simple. We want to know that if it's validation that the committee has recommended, EC, why are you dragging your feet? Because we didn't go and select that committee. The EC appointed that committee to look into all the representations that I had made, that Agboja had made. And they came up that we should do validation. EC saying a lie. Even the half loaf, we won't give it to Ghanaians. This is what we are protesting.
NPP.
And oh, why? CPP too said the same. And I mean, you are pretending as if it's only MPP. And not just MPP now. We are talking about what the committee said. Now, MPP's full loaf is out of the window. NDC's zero loaf or quarter loaf is out of the window. The committee is now the one who is advising the EC. And even their advice, the EC has chosen to ignore it. And this is where our beef is coming from. So when I hear my brother talk about the fact that, we were doing, what do you call it, the EC does not have to do this for anybody, and that in the Volta region and so on and so forth, I say they don't understand election. Look, let me tell you what can happen to a bloated register. If you remember in the 2012 elections.
But you used this register in Ibuakwa North, didn't
Thank you very much. We used it in Ibuakwa North.
There was no
we used
chaos.
it, no problem. We used it in Amensi. We used it in Talensi.
Talensi.
So we are consistent.
And
one thing about law is that
because Let's
until
My
the
Vote
status
Count
quo
claims that if we don't change that register, it would be a bad thing for Ghana.
That's why
So
I'm moving
if
to that.
we've
It
used that
affects the
successful-
presidential. No. You see, with parliamentary results, it's different. Let me explain why.
Why?
Let me explain. Now, in Amensi, we went. In Talensi, we went. In Ibuakwa, we went. So no problem. We have been consistent. The
Why
way
did
the
you go? Why do you want to run election
relax,
on a
relax,
faulty
relax.
register?
But if the
The way
register
the
is
law
that
works
bad,
is no.
why are you
The way
using
the
it?
law works
Why
is
are
that
you
what
participating?
the status quo is, if you want to change it, you have to use legitimate means.
Right.
You have to either go to court to change it, or you go to the EC to lobby to change it. And that's what we're doing. So that's the first thing. So if there's an election today on the old register, we have no choice, we will go. But it doesn't mean that because we have protested the register, we won't go for the election. That is a propaganda.
But
we will not be caught up with.
it was not chaotic.
No, you're not getting.
No,
Let me
I
move-
get your
No, I'm now
point.
moving to the point of why we want the register changed.
Okay.
There's something called padding. Nanaba, are you aware that, because my brother, he knows, that in the 2012 election...
say the thing before you say I know.
Yeah, well...
Don't give me a blank check.
If I don't know, then you can refute. That when it came to single numbers of the total, MPP had more votes in the MP section than NDC. But NDC had more seats. Why? In the MPP seats, for example, they are usually in the urban areas. So, for example, if you go to Bantama, and it's 120,000 people, is one constituency. But if you go, for example, to Albangbagwi's constituency, 40,000 divided into 2. Adaklu, how many people? About 80,000 divided into 2. So 40-40 is 2 constituencies. Okay. But yet, when it came to the presidential, and listen to this, John Mahama had 400,000 votes more than his MPs combined. But yet the MPP, Nanado, had 6,000 votes more than his MP. But you know there's skirt and blouse.
Yes.
So there's a small margin for difference.
So what's the point you're trying to
make? My point is that John Mahama's margin was so big, we asked for an explanation that how come we have 400,000 people who voted for Mahama and didn't vote for any MPs?
Do you know where the answer is? Do you know where the answer is?
I'm coming.
It's at the polling station.
Oh, no. Hold on. The EC gave us the answer. The EC said it's to do with the overseas voters and the special vote. Oh, relax.
Okay, quickly before
and
we
the
take a
special
break.
voting and the overseas. So they brought the special voting and they calculated it. And then they brought the overseas vote. You remember that was where the biggest controversy came, and they asked Dr. Frejan, and he said, my Lord, I cannot fathom. In simple terms, my Lord, I do not know. When it came to the overseas list, okay, it was less than 300 people. And when you add all the soldiers and the police and everybody, it was less than 100,000. So the question therefore arose that how come we still had about 300,000 unaccounted for?
Okay.
There's no
let me take some
Oh,
comments
I need to
here.
land on just this one.
Okay, quickly.
Just 1 second, okay. So we know, as they know, you remember when President Mills said a bloated register can lead to Kenya? You remember? He's a politician. Today he's feigning innocence.
No.
A bloated register can be used to pad results for the presidential, which may not be a problem at the... Oh, don't say no.
Okay, Mike, I have to take a break.
Okay,
let me take some messages here. Sanatu Zambang says that man will be judged not by his acts, but by his intentions. For God alone reads our hearts. Okay, maybe the message is for both of you. NDC is behaving prematurely. There's this one as well from Daniel Ose, who has a question for you, Honorable Agbuja. What does the NDC lose if there's a new register? He says you should talk like you're addressing Ghanaians and not just NDC members, because a new voters register will not harm anybody.
Why? I mean,
let's just read the text. Oh.
But she was addressing me.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just a comment.
So we should all answer to each text.
She's the host,
okay, you the next one. You the next one answer.
Okay, this one is a comment for Waec. If we allow Waec to continue to conduct exams in Ghana, our certificates may not be accepted in any institution outside Ghana. I think Michael Quay made that point. Only NDC will say that something that is good shouldn't be made better, and the better made best. And he's referring to the voters register. Nothing has saddened me so much in life as the hardness of heart of educated people. I don't really understand your question, your comments. Peace between two majority parties must rest on the solid foundation of love between individuals. Okay. There's another one here from Sniper Ben, who says that, Nanaba, I think that the NPP is probably not being listened to. It's about time we made time for them. It is not fair if they're demanding things and we're not doing it. Okay, I'll look for more here. Sanatu says intolerance in itself. I think Sanatu is preaching a lot this evening. Okay, Sniper said, look at the number of people who were there. He's asking if you think those people are children, to say that they bought the pants for them. Alasan Amadou says that is the NPP trying to tell us that if we don't change the register, they will not participate in the elections? No. I don't think the NPP has said that. They
said it.
Some of them said that. No,
some of them said it.
I'm an official of the party, and I say we've not said that.
Yeah. He communicates officially for the party.
He's an official of the party who doesn't know that David Asante is a member of the party.
He knows David Asante is not the leading member of the party.
He is a leading member.
He's a leading member. What is a leading member? There's a clear definition for that. Okay, we'll be right back. Do stay with us. Right, welcome back to the show. This is State of Affairs on GH1 TV. And you know, I just love my football as well. So if you're watching and you're a football buff like me, Paris Saint-Germain is actually ahead of Manchester City. 2-1 it is. And Wolfsburg have scored 2 goals against Real Madrid. Anyway, yeah. Shocking. All right, so Mike, I'm going to start with you right now, because if Let My Vote Count says that we will not agree, that was the title, the theme for today's demonstration, Ba Muyada, we will not agree, that is what it means. And they are saying that the EC has also made public the roadmap for the elections. I spoke to the EC boss this afternoon, and she said that indeed they communicated that roadmap to IPAC in December 2015. And so Let My Vote Count is not a member of IPAC. They should probably consult the NPP about the roadmap, because it is already there, it's been published, it's been made available to IPAC and its donor partners as well. Then the issue about threatening the EC, that you have to change the register. Really, can any pressure group just get up and threaten the security of this country, Mike?
Never. And what they're doing is not threatening. They are demonstrating. They are protesting. They are making their views known.
But if they say we will not agree, what does it mean?
Well, it means that we don't agree to your timetable. You know the EC has given a timetable and not inserted validation in it yet. They say they will. We are saying that when? We won't agree. Insert it now.
Okay.
That's all we are saying. So I don't see why anybody should make it look as if the MPP is trying to be a bit difficult or non-law abiding or anything else that somebody would want to connect to the MPP. Not the case. We have a right as a party to make our voices heard. Now, our point again is this. EC, we came to you, you didn't listen to us. Now your own committee too is telling you you won't listen. Look, the EC has a track record, and I'm sure you would remember this case, where recently the EC went to put out a notice for local elections. We told them that the constitutional instrument does not allow them to just give that amount of notice. I think it was 10 days or so, when they were supposed to give 21 full days. It's a constitutional instrument requisite by law. Can you believe the EC flouted the law? They went against it and didn't do what they've been told to do by law. NDC spoke. MPP spoke. EC refused to listen. When we took the matter to court, we ended up losing 390 million plus because of the stubbornness of the EC. So when you are an EC who has that track record of being stubborn from the days of Raijan, stubborn now as we see in the days of Charlotte Osei, and people are protesting, it's not because we want to bug the EC. It's because we want to draw their attention. You know, I mean, we all know when your son is stubborn and you hold him by the ears, it's just to draw his attention. It doesn't mean you want to tear the ear off.
It's a child abuse.
Do you understand?
It's actually child abuse.
No, it's not child abuse.
It's child abuse.
No, you
if
see,
you
maybe,
ever hold your child's ear like that, it's child abuse.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Now let me tell my brother here that if my child does something, I'll pinch his ear hard. And if you see it as child abuse, too bad. If you see it as child abuse,
people visit you.
Don't do propaganda. You see, this is the kind of behavior that we go and learn.
It's not right. I will never hold my daughter's ear like that.
Certain funny traditions and come and use it. You have the right how you train your child. I have the right how to train my child.
The children belong to the state, so don't pull their ears.
Me sitting here, my father pulled my ear, and I'm here today.
He was wrong.
No, your father didn't pull your ear.
Right?
Your father didn't pull your father didn't cane you. You look like a stubborn child. I'm sure your father used to lash you. Even that you don't call child abuse. Please, let's not go into
abuse. Okay, back to the issue,
let us have
please.
A text message whether your father used to cane you or not. Let's go on to the issue. The issue is that I'm saying that the EC is being quite recalcitrant. They're being quite difficult. And so we are drawing the attention to them. I'm sure, Nana Abbas, you're aware, you know that the issue is also in court. Some people have taken it to court. Some people are doing demonstration. These are all legal and constitutional avenues. And I don't see why the NDC should come and stand on the this thing too.
NPP? I mean, once in a while you hear the CPP also comments. But if all
maybe because we have a bigger stake.
Registered political parties, there are about 24 of you.
Oh, but you know, a lot of them are even redundant.
Yeah.
And a lot of
if
them...
all of you were demanding
is,
ABCD from the EC, really?
Oh, but madam, we're entitled. You see, let me tell you what the EC's problem is. One thing the EC owes every Ghanaian is something called transparency and accountability. That's all we ask of them.
And they have not been transparent?
They must be, yes.
They have not been
they've not been
transparent.
transparent to let us know.
Because you haven't
what
seen
the timetable
validation inserted.
Validation is not in there. And we are saying that we want the transparency. Do you know that the EC are paid by taxpayers' money?
Of course.
Their budget is from taxpayers. So we are asking for transparency and accountability.
But has the EC said on any platform that they will not do this validation?
Well, no can be determined by your actions, or delay can affect the ultimate goal. So we are saying that since you brought out the timetable...
Because when you say we will not agree, it's almost as if the EC has said
no,
that
we
the validation
we
will
don't
not
agree
happen.
with the way you have put the timetable at the moment.
Okay.
And that has been made clear.
Where?
No, that has been made
IPAC?
clear.
Has it been made clear at IPAC?
It has been made very clear that we don't agree. Now,
Where?
wait, hold on. Let my vote count doesn't have to go through IPAC to make its matters clear.
But the EC deals with IPAC when
Thank
these
you.
issues are concerned.
As one of the outlets.
Yes.
And even in some instances, the EC has still not listened to IPAC. So that is not the issue. The issue is that everybody is entitled to demonstrate. Everybody is entitled to go to court. And then the political parties who are in IPAC can also use IPAC as an avenue.
Absolutely.
And once all these are constitutional, I don't see anything wrong with it. The only thing I would want to also add my voice to advise the EC, is EC, your job is transparency, accountability. Most importantly, your job is consensus building. Let us see the EC building consensus in a way which will bring fraternity, in a way which will bring us all together, instead of a situation where they seem as if they are a referee who is just being very difficult. It won't help anybody in the long run.
Well, I'll come to you in a bit, because there are suggestions that Let My Vote Count is actually believing that they are bigger than other political parties.
Oh, that is propaganda. I mean, every society, in fact, you can have Nanaba group. You remember there were the suffragettes, for example. They had a cause. They wanted to be able to vote, and they wanted as women to be able to smoke. Are you saying that because they want something for themselves as a right, and they are going through the right way, they think they are bigger than men? No. They are entitled to go and demonstrate for what they want. So I actually don't understand the culture in this country where when somebody indulges in something peacefully, they indulge in something constitutionally, they are rather called names. No, I think we should rather applaud them and say, hey, that's their opinion. And then the other person can say, but the EC has its right to also listen or not to listen.
Yes.
And we are saying, oh, we don't agree with your timetable. You can say, well, if you don't agree, we also don't agree. But that doesn't mean that
what is your plan if this
going to...
validation doesn't happen?
Oh, we have no plan. Because, Nana, let me tell you the truth. Our plan
because
is to
nobody
law...
can dictate to the EC,
no,
really.
Let me make this clear. Our plan is to be law-abiding citizens.
Great.
We have come to the EC with a problem. And our problem has been looked at by the committee set up by the EC.
So that was a response.
Thank you. And the response is that there should be validation. All we are asking is that, okay, put what the committee said there, because we don't see it as part of the timetable.
The EC hasn't said it won't do it.
But it hasn't done it. So it can tell us that, oh, we intend to do it soon, so wait. Everything demands a response.
So you're expecting a communication from the EC?
Let me give you an example. Look at this STL matter, for example. We have a situation where the EC, okay, told us when this happened in 2012. Nanaba, are you aware that when the MPP went to STL office, that we had heard that certain results were being changed or transmitted in a certain way? You know who came out to meet us? Former president of Nigeria, Obasanjo. He came to tell all the people out there that, look, the STL are working for the EC officially. So don't be worried about what they are doing. They are just transmitting results. No problem. So we went out and said, but IPAC didn't discuss this. So why are STL transmitting results? Okay. Then the EC came and told everybody that, hey, we are not doing anything with STL. They don't transmit any results for us. So we accepted it to the extent that we didn't even mention it in our court case. But then the Interior Minister, no less, a man who himself has been chief of staff before, a man who's in charge of the whole interior of Ghana, He's in charge of the police, the BNI, the national security, all the happenings in the country. He's in charge. He tells us that STL are those who do transmission of results. So you can see that there's a conflict. There's a double speak. And we want to find out that, is it the case, as the Interior Minister himself has affirmed, his deputy has affirmed, Kofi Adam says, no, it's a goof, it's a lie. Even within the government, there's confusion.
Right.
So we want to have confidence in the EC by just getting a response. EC, be transparent. Be accountable to the people of Ghana. Tell us, did STL do any transmission of results?
Okay.
The EC has kept mute till today. And it is that mute that offends the spirit of transparency and accountability that we are asking them to account for.
Okay. Honorable Agboja.
Yes, you see, I've already said all this is just an NPP putting up a front to make the world think that our electoral system is faulty. And they have, over the past 3 years, not shown anything. The best they did was, let me be blunt, to go and create, Photoshop, names that look or sound like names from Volta region, and said that these people were not supposed to be on the register because they are foreigners. And till today, where are the 76,000 people? And then just send the EC.
When you say that, you're questioning the integrity of the NPP. To say that they went to create.
Of course.
How?
But that didn't happen.
Of course. And I'm saying that.
You know, we had the register, and the Togolese people said they cannot give us our register. So what happened was, because the Togolese people refused to authenticate the register we used, we could not go down that line again.
Well, you are a lawyer. You are a lawyer. If
we can't force them to bring the register.
If something cannot be authenticated, it's fake. Is that not what it is? Of course.
Officially, they will give it to you.
If you take a certificate from your school and then your employer says,
this one is not your school.
Hold on, and your employer says, and your employer takes it to the school, and your school says we cannot. Hold on,
Go on and make your point.
Yes, and the point I'm making is that the so-called phantom 76,000 people from Volta region, because that is specifically what they were doing, was fake. They faked it. They created it. That is why that couldn't stand in front of the eminent people.
The template was not accepted by EC because they said what we have brought them, they cannot authenticate it.
This was the man. This was the man who was trying to rescue himself when he was talking. That I was interjecting.
But you interrupted
just
me a bit.
Just advise
I'll
yourself
stop
on
later.
that. You see, they have managed to create the impression that there was something big happening wrongly about our electoral register, and nobody can see it. It's just like hearsay. Look, you know their strategy. Go and say. Well, he said something quite interesting, and Nana used to say, "Oh, if we don't do this, the country will bend down."
No.
And hold on. I'm saying that I'm using my own words.
Nana has never
said that.
I said.
Nana said that. When?
Listen.
Okay.
They have said all sorts of things. I would own it.
Nana said this country will bend. Where did he? You said Nana said.
Why are you getting jittery when I mention Nana?
Because Nana hasn't
they wouldn't
said that.
force you to withdraw anything because you.
No, but Nana hasn't said that.
I said it.
Where did he say that?
I said that they have said things to the effect that if Nana, and I mentioned, I said Nana and Co said the things. I'm not saying that he specifically, but we know NPP have said time and again that if Cabo said it, that if they don't get what they want, the election Ghana will become whatever. They've said all this. But
I'm sorry, but that is not fair. Really and truly,
I didn't see you interjecting. Why don't you allow me to say something and own it?
Because what you're saying is a very wild.
But they have said it time and again that without Nanaba, have you ever heard any of them saying that
the country will bend?
Nanaba, have you ever heard them saying that? Have you ever heard them saying that if we don't do a new voters register, the election will not be free and fair? And then
is that the same?
What is the difference between there'll be violence?
No. If they said the election will not be free and fair,
and there'll be violence.
Where was this said?
Nanaba, allow me to make my point.
Make your point, but please give us facts.
My point is that they lied about it. Okay. They deliberately chose people from Volta region, and when they were told to validate it, they couldn't validate it. And today, all they say is that this country would have been been ashes by now if Nana was a violent person. Why is it? I said your posture is that Nana has saved this country. Yes.
Okay.
And so
at least
when
Ghanaians had posture. So that's his interpretation of our posture. That's fine. You can continue.
Nanaba, Ghanaians are not only NPP people. Yes, the NPP have got the right to make any demand they want, but they must understand that even IPAC is a creation of the EC. It is not in the law for them to. So the fact that they go and demand things of EC doesn't mean that EC should do it. Otherwise, EC can't function because I can go and make demand on them as well. And I'm saying that all this posturing, making the whole world feel like there's something wrong with our electoral register. NPP has never been able to prove what is wrong with our register. If you talk about somebody's name on the register who shouldn't be there, of course, I've lost family members who voted in 2012 who are 6 feet under now. They shouldn't be there. We can clean it up. But that doesn't mean that we should go and do a new register. And somebody...
Have NDC made demands of the EC before?
Why not?
They have in the past.
You have?
Why not?
Of course they have. In
Why
2004 they did.
And does that mean because you didn't want the EC to function, you wanted EC to collapse? Is that why you made demands?
No, we are talking about a specific thing that...
But you were also specific.
But we make demands and you say that it's as if we want to collapse the EC.
So the fact that they made when we made a demand, did they keep quiet over it?
No.
So why am I wrong for saying that their demand is unfounded?
I don't understand that.
When we made our demand, did you clap for us?
We didn't clap, but we didn't say that you don't have the right to demand.
Yes. No, did I say you don't have the right to demand?
Well, you're insinuating.
No. I said that the fact that you made demand doesn't mean that they should give it to you because all of us...
Thank you. We understand that. And I said that here.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that you should understand that the public understands that, or at least I am saying that your so-called phantom 76,000 votes, so-called, the Togolese does not exist. You doctored it, and that is why it can't stand. And I'm happy you confessed today that you could not validate it. And I'm saying that
if you... No, he didn't say they could not validate it. He said the Togolese EC did not give them...
No, did not give it to the EC here.
He used the word validate.
They could not validate it for the EC.
Exactly. So now she's telling you, he used the word validate.
But we managed to get it.
So who is right here now?
But the EC refused to get it. How can that be a problem?
Okay. And I'm saying that, if you went to a school and have a certificate, and your school cannot validate your certificate, your certificate is fake.
No, it's like a criminal case where the police refuse to go and get the evidence against somebody.
I have a question for you, Mike. Jerry Coleman says, what is the NPP telling us Ghanaians? What is the purpose of this demonstration? Which register did they agree on with the EC for the just ended election in Ibuakwa? When the president is transforming polytechnics to technical universities today, others are doing demonstrations. And then he goes on to say, if this demonstration was about the electoral process, look at the inscriptions on the placards today.
Well,
I
don't know what he's talking about with regard to that. All I can tell him is that the Ghanaians who went on demonstration are Ghanaians. They are entitled to voice out how they feel about certain issues. And if they feel that the EC, after you've been advised by the committee that you set up to do something, you have not put it in a timetable, and you have not told us that you are going to vary the timetable, we are allowed to ask you, are you going to do it or not? I don't want to even respond to my brother on all those things he said about.
I just want to learn something from you.
Yes, tell me.
Are you saying that anytime EC forms an ad hoc committee,
yes,
and they come up with recommendations, they are obliged to implement
the recommendations?
Never.
So
never.
So why are you
never? But this is where the question comes. When the EC, after we have brought you something, you say you are going to set up a panel to advise you on it. Okay?
Advice.
Yes, advice.
Advice.
Yes.
Not instruct.
You can decide not to take the advice.
Thank you very much. So we want the EC to tell us
that they are not taking
yes
that advice
or not.
Okay.
And we are entitled to the transparency.
Well, that's very
because
simple.
Otherwise, why did you go and set up the committee? Basically useless. Why will you go and set up a committee and not take the advice?
To expose your lies.
No.
The 76,000 people do not exist.
Let me explain this. My brother doesn't understand. Look, it's like the Waec case. You remember how Rollins was angry? He said what the prosecutor had done is this. The people who are the government people like Betty Mould, who should be able to come and tell us.
We are talking about electoral...
No. Let me give you an example.
He's giving you an
example. They were supposed to come and give the prosecution ammunition so that Waec can be prosecuted. Then the prosecution decided not to call those people.
Thank God.
So I'm coming. So the court did not have the ammunition to prosecute. The EC we gave them certain information. They did not get the ammunition that was required from Togolese counterparts because the Togolese counterparts refused to oblige. So because of that, there was no template to use to make the case go further. And that's why we stopped it. But you rather go and say that because the Togolese EC refused the request of the Ghanaian EC, we are lying.
No,
you see, when you bring that kind of logic,
I didn't even go that far.
Your logic is flawed.
I am saying that you did not even.
You said it was fake because they didn't give the register.
You
and when I use the word validate, you didn't understand it in the context.
You doctored it.
Well, all I would just say is that,
yes.
You see, when you don't understand something, relax and let us explain it to you.
You doctored it.
Because when it comes to drawing house or drawing stage, I won't come and contest
you. Did you bother to investigate it yourself?
He'll be bothered.
Why should assuming somebody said this?
So then why do you say
hold on?
It was fake?
If I tell you the moon has landed at my back garden, are you about to come
interested?
If that's you are interested,
I'll be very interested.
Yes, but the point is, they know they lied.
How?
Because it's not true.
Anyway.
They should go to. I mean,
so a party of eminent people will come and lie.
Eminent people.
Yeah.
You know, look, I'm saying that. So are you saying that the prosecution that couldn't prosecute Woyeme? We saw it on your tip.
That is the
where
law.
Rollins spoke to you.
What
was Rollins' complaint? Rollins said he's angry because Ameshi Juloe.
Well, you can do.
Meaning that the person who has stolen the money has been allowed to go because.
You want me to repeat the kind of thing President Rollins said about your party?
Well, I'm talking. Rollins talking about NPP is not strange, but Rollins talking about NDC is very strange times indeed.
Honorable Agboja.
Yes, and all I want to let Ghanaians understand is that NDC has no interest in manipulating anything. We believe that the only reason President Mahama is going to win this election is because he has delivered on the promises to the people. Today, this week, you saw him doing things like fulfilling the promise of converting the polytechnics that the NDC created in the past. Yesterday, their Volta Regional Chairman lied again that NPP created the whole polytechnic. I don't know where they get these unnecessary lies from, which is checkable.
How and where?
Can you imagine? During the press conference, it's not possible. But the NPP created in fact, President Kufuor, they didn't create one. We created a polytechnic and we promised we make them technical universities. These are the checkable things. Or during the week, you see the president commission a hospital. That I say that
is that his official work or campaigning?
No, it's just delivering to the people. You understand? And to the extent that you see UK ministers saying that the quality of design, quality of the build, the quality of equipment fixed at those hospitals is equivalent to what you can see in the UK. This is what matters to the people. It's not about talking about a phantom 76,000 people. It doesn't make Dodoa people get a better hospital. So whilst they are on this, the president will continue delivering to the people. That is why he wins.
Are you expecting the opposition to be quiet?
No.
Because you are commissioning projects, the opposition should not keep its eye on things they find important.
But they can do something. Be responsible opposition by putting forward things that are truths. Alternative government is what you call opposition in some places.
Michael, you have the last word.
When we are talking about commissioning hospitals, they should say that these were the hospitals they also built. In the 8 years.
Your final word before we go for benefits.
Did you have the advantage of reading the Chronicle this morning, the Chronicle newspaper?
No.
You see, before I go on to that story, which was from the Awomefia Togbisiri, the NDC think that they can create a mirage of phantom situations where when you are hungry and you go and ask your mother for money, then it says, oh, look at the hospital President John Mahama built. When you don't have any food at home, oh, look at the factory that's
there was a need for the hospital.
Can I finish? Can I finish? Oh,
no president.
When you don't create jobs for the parents,
the hospital. Don't you have people working at the hospital?
You were making your point. I let
people work at the hospital. They get paid.
In fact, during the construction, people were employed.
Oh, I'm coming. So they've created this situation to hoodwink Ghanaians. You see, the first thing President Mahama told us, he said, "Oh, as for you, don't worry. I'll put money in your pocket in 2016.
He clarified
as
that.
for in 2017,
quickly,
I will put I will put the money in my pocket now with the contracts. You see all the trouble that they are doing around the country, like the bus branding.
He say that?
I'm giving you the facts.
But when you're giving
you know
facts,
that in the bus branding, they went to full trouble 1.9 million. Yeah, that kind
which
of
has
thing.
Been paid back,
giving,
apparently.
Whether it's been paid back or not, they fold the trouble before they pay back. And you and I know that when you go and steal a goat, do they allow you to bring the goat back and go home?
Okay.
Yes. So you didn't give me enough chance to talk
when
about
I come back,
to give you what we're about to do.
Okay, very quickly, let's just take Beneficent's countdown.
Okay.
How safe can seeds be? Okay. Well, let's start from the king of the swing regions, Greater Accra. Ashaman is a safe seat for the NDC. Ashaman is in Greater Accra, around Tema area. And in the 2008 election, the margin of victory for the NDC was about 19,000. In 2012, the margin of victory was a total of 28,000. And I'll tell you why. An activist of the NDC who lost the party's primaries was dissatisfied. So he went as an independent candidate. So the 2012 candidate, Alfred Agbesi, got 47,134. The affected candidate, Tony Afenyo, got 13,863. The NDC's MPP's candidate got 32,000 plus. Now, if you total Afenyo and Agbesi's vote is over 60,000, and that's what John Mahama got. So that's how you calculate. So you can see that the NDC's strength, the margin of victory this time was 28,000. That, for you, viewer, is a safe seat. The MPP, I'm sure you know Dominic Abenya. Yes. Well, let me give you an idea of Dominic Abenya in Accra. Dominic Abenya, Abokobi, Ablaje, Abogba, Hacho, Atomic, Kwabenya, Domi East, Domi West, Taifa South, Taifa North. These 10 electoral areas make up Dominic Abenya constituency in Greater Accra. And it's a safe seat for the MPP. I mean, if you are contesting there, you should target at minimizing the margin of victory. In 2008, the margin of victory for the MPP was about 11,000 votes. 11,000. And in 2012, the margin of victory was, guess, 28,000. And I'll tell you something funny in parliamentary elections in this country. In 2012, the MPP's candidate, Ajua Safo, got 63,373. She beat the NDC's candidate, Sophia Kwaku, who got 35,536. The funny thing is that there are members of parliament who got less than 10,000, but they are in parliament. Akwaku got 35,000, he's not in parliament. So you see along the line, we've been talking to you about parliament being funny and then apathy. You can see somebody who lost, got 35,000, not in parliament. Somebody who wins with 10,000 in parliament.
Right, it's time to wrap up. Mike, you were making a point. 30 seconds, quickly. It's already 8:30.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that when you look at Togbisri, that Womesia, Togbisri the third, from the Volta region, and he's a chief representing the people, I want to tell the NDC what he thinks. He says, there's no problem, okay? He says here that in terms of developmental and infrastructure facilities that you have provided, he says that, Your Excellency, we appreciate the number of developmental and infrastructure facilities that you provided. Laudable as these efforts may seem, they fail to address a very crucial fundamental need of the teeming unemployed masses. And the teeming is spelled with double E. Unemployed masses. He says, the poverty level in our area is therefore very high. You are an MP in the Volta region, so listen. The hardships are tremendous to narrate. Too much to narrate.
Time up, Mike.
Oh, that's the last one. The only alternative left to them, that's the youth, is to resort to robbery, smoking, and prostitution. This is what the NDC has reduced Ghanaian youth to.
All right.
And that's why they should vote against them. The Libi for the project
Thank you very much.
Kwani Kwani.
Michael Quay Jr. is a Deputy Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party. And the Honorable Kwame Agboja is Member of Parliament for the Adakulu constituency in the Volta region. It was such a pleasure having both of you here. But nice seeing you again, Honorable Agboja.
Nice seeing you.
You know you're one of my favorite MPs.
Yes, you're my favorite presenter.
All right, so we'll see you same time tomorrow.
Okay.